So you just started playing Tropico 6. Your mandate keeps running out, you keep going deep into debt, and all your citizens are homeless living in shacks. Is this happening to you? There are so many ways players fail in the first years of a new sandbox or mission map. Hello, Hogzeller here again. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I do when starting a new map to prevent all the issues I see other players make based on what I see in videos and online forum posts when playing in the colonial era in Tropico 6. If you like these kind of videos, press that like button. If you have your own strategies or questions, leave a comment below so I can reply, and please subscribe to my channel. The first tip I can provide is something I do every time I load a new map. That is pause the game right away and scout out the land. A couple things you should take note of right away is where the gold, coal, iron, and nickel is located on the map, as those areas are usually very small and you should avoid building anything over the top of these areas to prevent possible issues if you advance to the next era. The next thing you should review is where the best patches of sugar plantations can be placed. Find the closest green patches close to the city center and avoid building other items over these patches unless it's the aforementioned mining locations. The second thing I recommend is not building everything at once. Keep it simple early on. You do want to change your ranch work mode to pasture prohibition. This will allow for the creation of manure. The next thing you want to do is build 2 to 3 sugar plantations, leaving the monoculture work mode enacted. In between the 3 plantations, build a manure spreader. Normally, without the manure spreader, the soil will degrade, reducing the efficiency of each of the plantations. This will happen all the way down until the plantations are at 0%. But the manure spreader, if you have plantations that are in the radius of it, will replenish the soil, bringing the efficiency back up to the maximum possible value, as long as you keep it supplied with manure. Also build 1 local consumption crop next to the sugar plantations within the radius of the manure spreader so that you can feed the people of your island. Usually this is corn, but it can also be banana or pineapple. Now you can build the item that will be your cash cow in the colonial era, the Rum Factory. Rum is the thing that'll fund all your future projects in the colonial era and set you up nicely when you advance to the World Wars era. Build your rum factory, max the budget, and be sure to purchase the Dunderstill upgrade so that your sugar crop lasts longer. As long as you bring in the money through exports, you should be able to then double or triple the number of sugar plantations and rum factories. The next thing you should consider is building gold mines, but only if the gold resource on your island is relatively close to the city center or is on the route between your city center and your dock. So keep in mind this part is optional. Generally, gold will export at a value of about 9,000 Tropican bucks per 1,000 units exported, which is a good deal considering that you don't need to refine or process this resource before exporting. It is a direct export resource. Make sure that you max the budget on your gold mine and change the work mode to profit protocol. At this point, you should be able to start running your island in an unpaused state. Once your island is running for a little bit and you have exported a little rum, your Teamster building of just 6 employees could be getting a little overworked. If you have the money, it is time to start building a second Teamster building so that you keep those items moving around your island. Generally, you want to build another Teamster building every 3 to 5 production buildings. At this point, you might be running a little low on workers, so I recommend that you build your Pirate Cove. This building will allow you to complete raids for materials or rescue raids for people, which can increase the population on your island and fill those vacant job positions. Next, you want to build some minimal basic items to keep your citizens happy. Build a circus and a chapel, making sure that you max the budget on each of these buildings if possible. The circus will be important because if your citizens' fun happiness value gets too low, then they start to move very slowly, which can be harmful to your overall island profit. On the chapel, change the work mode to help first, preach later. This will decrease the service quality of the faith happiness, but will gain you the crucial healthcare value. Granted, you will only get a 25 healthcare value, but it is better than the 0 healthcare value all the other buildings except the fort could provide. And the last thing you need is your citizens dying from low health care, exacerbating any low population issues. The next thing you will need to build, once you can afford it, is the fort. Depending on the map and any settings on that map, there might be pirates that invade your island and attack your buildings. The fort should be able to fight off those pirates. After a few more export cycles allowing you to build up your bank balance, you should consider building some housing for your homeless citizens. We should do this to get the housing rating up, but more importantly, it is to collect money from rent money on people living in those houses. Rent money might seem small on a per individual, per house scale, but once you are collecting rent on numerous fully occupied houses, it can add up quickly to your bank balance. I recommend building bunkhouses. This is where the Urban Development Edict can come in handy. This edict will provide a 50% discount on all housing built, but has an upfront cost of 7,500 Tropican bucks. So as long as you can build at least 13 bunkhouses, that'll make issuing this edict worth it. If you are going to build anything less than the 13 bunkhouses, then don't enact this edict, just build the bunkhouses at the normal rate. Continue to bring in that sweet rum and gold money through a few more export cycles. Now it is time to optimize a few other things. The next thing is to build the library. This will build up your research points so that you can enact a few more edicts. Also note that you can build the library at the start of the map at the same time you're building your sugar plantations and rum factories so that you can build up even more research points. But you should build your library at no later than this point in your island. After you have the research points, you should be enacting the Employee of the Month Edict to extend the shifts of all workers in your factories. This edict comes at a reasonable, flat 600 Tropican bucks per month cost. So as your island gets bigger, this edict actually gets better. Also enact the Penal Colony Edict to ramp up your population growth. Plus, you will actually get paid to enact this edict. Another thing you should consider building is the newspaper so that you can increase the liberty value on your island, but don't change the work mode to the independent until you are ready to go to the next era, as this work mode will shift the affiliations of the people on your island towards the revolutionaries. At this point of the video, we should talk about the demands of the crown. You should be getting demands from Lord Wyndham throughout the whole building process of this video, but I couldn't really find a good place to put this crown demands portion in, so I'm doing it near the end of the video. Your rule of your island in the colonial era is limited by the crown, but this mandate can be extended by completing tasks from Lord Wyndham. If you can complete the task from Lord Wyndham, then complete the task. Usually this is a trade route, but the request can be to build something or enact an edict. But there is a key. If you can't complete the request or don't want to complete the request, just decline the task. Really, Lord Wyndham, how many dungeons do you need on this island? Really, you don't want to just leave a task from the crown unfulfilled, because you won't get a new task that you might be able to complete and your mandate might run out. Sure, you do take a small hit in approval from the crown by declining a task, but this does allow the next crown demand to be presented. Now your island should be set. I recommend building up that bank balance and appease the crown by extending the mandate. I recommend that you build up your balance by a couple 100,000, or if you really want to be sure, go for a cool million. Once you are ready to go to the next era, switch your newspaper to the independent work mode. Bring in those revolutionary immigrants when completing tasks for the revolutionaries, and then pay the 15,000 to declare independence and move on to the World Wars era. If this guide helped you conquer the colonial era, then hit that like button. If you have questions, leave a comment below so I can reply, and subscribe to my channel, please. I have more guides on my channel that go into other Tropico strategies and overview all the missions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.